What are Microsoft doing to help you tackle mental wellness, and what tools are in place to make sure you are protecting yourself and protecting others? So today we're really going to look at Viva Insights and how Viva Insights comes together to allow you to build good habits for yourself, develop good habits, whether that's in your work life or even for personal reasons, how you can do that as yourself, how you can do that for your team. If anybody here is a manager or a leader or a business owner, how you can use these tools for those purposes to make sure you're taking care of your team, taking care of your employees that are there. And how, as well, we can keep everybody engaged in our organisation, because ultimately, if they're not engaged, then they're not doing what we need them to do. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the personal insights that you can see within Microsoft Viva, what insights are there, and what we can use them for as well. So the first one that we have, and this is within Teams in Microsoft Viva. So if you open up Teams, open up Microsoft Viva, you should have a tab that allows you to stay connected, which, I mean, that sounds like quite a fluffy term as to what we're doing. However, what it will do is it will give you recommendations of actions in things like emails, in Teams messages, etc., that you probably have an action to take. And if you haven't actioned that, it's just a gentle reminder. What we can do then, if you were here earlier, is we can take that and put it into our to-do list so then we don't forget it. But it's just a nice reminder for you to keep on top of those things that are in your email, in Teams, to stay connected. Make sure that you're, again, getting your to-do list done, but you're also not causing something like anxiety for other people because they feel like you're not listening or you're not answering them or you've just ignored them. They know that it's there because it's in Microsoft Viva. Focus time is a really important one. The amount of meetings we are now being asked to attend every day has gone skyrocketed since we all work from home. And actually, whilst we're sat in meeting after meeting after meeting, when are we actually able to get our own work done? When are we actually able to do the actions that we said we were going to do in that meeting? So what we can do with Microsoft Viva is you can automatically set your own schedule to say, as an example, I want 2 hours of my day in the morning every day booked aside for focus time. Now, that will put that in your calendar in advance. I think it's 2 weeks in advance that will book that. And that just means that every day you actually have time to get work done. That seems like such a small thing, and it does actually take a bit of a cultural change for people to look at that and actually honour the fact that you need time to get work done rather than people booking that over for you. But this is really important to get your own work done, booking focus time and automatically setting that schedule for yourself. And then we also have something which is all about protecting your own time outside of your work hours. So if you go into Microsoft Viva, which was My Analytics, and at the moment it's a bit hybrid, they're sort of in the middle of a rollover into Viva Insights. But if you go into My Analytics at the moment, there's something in here called Wellbeing, which actually shows you in the boxes here how many of your own days outside of work hours you impacted your own time by working, whether that was sending one email, one Teams message outside of your working hours, which you have set. Now, for a lot of people, they probably look at that and they think that's not that bad. However, if you have a small child at home, if you had something you were supposed to be working on, anything like that, you can see that actually this is time I lost of my own time. I work a lot during the day. I should probably make sure I'm switching off out of hours. So just keeping an eye on this. It doesn't send you any sort of alert saying, Megan, you're meant to be in your own time, stop working, stop sending that email. But if I look at this every day, every week or anything, it does just highlight to me, actually, maybe I need to take more time, switch off in the evening, leave my laptop, shut my study door, anything like that, just to make those good habits for myself. And then we also have meeting habits. So this will give you information like, in my meetings, what percentage of the time was I fully focused, or was I opening up other applications? Was I sending Teams chat messages? This, for me, was a real eye-opener probably shouldn't tell people, but I was the worst for multitasking, which actually meant in all my meetings, how much was I actually listening to what was happening? Or was I just half-hearted? Jen's giving me a bit of a look back there. Hi, Jen. How much time was I actually just spent nodding along and actually not listening to what was happening? Is that actually ruining what I'm supposed to be doing? Or actually, are the other people on the call noticing, because they can see my head flicking, they can see me looking at a different screen, and actually that probably impacts them as well. So just looking at these meeting habits and making better habits for yourself and developing those habits is a really good way to do that. And then something that we all miss is the commute, but no one misses the traffic. But the commute was that time that you had between work, between home, to actually condense, think about everything that happened that day, and then get ready for that home life, whether that's my Sprocker Spaniel jumping over me, whether that's my niece running in because she really wants me to make her a pizza bagel, whatever it is, I need that time to condense. So the virtual commute just allows us 5 to 10 minutes where we can get our task list ready, we can sort our to-do list out, we can do a bit of meditation if that's the sort of thing you want, and it's not for everybody, but the option is there for you, and just allows us to decompress. And this is, again, within Teams, and just allows you to do that at the end of the day. And you can also set a notification. So my day at 5:30, I get a notification on Teams that says, would you like to start your virtual commute? Ideally, I should be finishing then, should do my virtual commute, because then it won't impact my own hours. If not, if I'm not ready, I can just open that up at another time. And then we have the inspiration library. So if you are somebody who likes to do meditation, listen to music, listen to people that are just giving some tips or anything like that. So here we've got an article about virtual fatigue. Just reading articles like that, there's a lot of resources that Microsoft are gathering and putting into this one location in Teams that you can use to help yourself and educate yourself as well. Oh, I'm not done. Don't come up, I'm not done. And that's a lot of information to condense and take in for yourself. We can get an email every day sent to our, look at that, sent to our inbox, which gives us an update as to what is happening, whether we've got things like quiet hours impacted, anything like that. So I do recommend, if you're going into Viva, just set up that daily briefing email. And even if you only look at it once a week, at least it's giving you that information and you have it to hand should you need it. So that's all the insights that you have on a personal level. We then have manager and team leader insights. And before I go into this, I am just going to say you will not be able to see your team's insights. So my manager won't be able to see how many days I worked overtime or how many days I haven't, because he can't then pull me up on it, not that he would. But all of your insights are personal to you, they are all private. But as managers, as team leaders, we do have some insights that help us be better managers around things like mental wellness. So your team insights will give you an overview as to how you are acting as a manager or a team leader. So it will tell you things like you impacted, oh no, that was just video. It will tell you things like you have impacted 40% of your team's personal time. Now, whilst I'm happy to be working outside of work hours, I might be happy to be working at 8 o'clock at night, but actually Anthony and my team, he wishes, may not want to receive my emails out of hours at 8 o'clock, because when he's sat on the sofa with his wife watching a TV show and I send him an important email, his heart's going to start going, he's going to start panicking, he's going to open that up, it's going to have an action, and then he's either going to not be able to stop thinking about it, or he's going to say to his wife, I'll just be back, I'm going to go do something quickly. That isn't fair for me to put that pressure on him in his own time. So it gives you insights like that. It gives you insights into when you last communicated with your team as well. We're supposed to be having one-to-ones with our team so that we know what's happening. It shows us when we last had one and if we need to have a recommendation to book a new one because we haven't had one recently. So it's just a really good way for you as a manager to see how you're working with your team and how you're potentially impacting your team as well. And then we also have, for those business leaders, some insights again, which, again, they're not personal to people. It just gives you an overview of how your organisation is working and how things are being impacted as well. So, again, as a whole, we get an insight into this is the amount of sort of percentage that are working after hours last week. We can see there as the example, 75% working out of hours. That for us doesn't look great because at that point people are working too many hours. We could potentially be impacting their personal time, or they could potentially be working towards something that we don't want them to have. So there's a lot of insights to come. There is more coming to Viva as well in terms of those manager and team leader insights as well. But as you can see, as a personal level, really got a good sort of amount of stuff that we've got there as well. And then we get reports as a leader as well. So, just quickly, some features that are in place today that we can adopt. First one is respect the status. This was a massive change that we all went through in COVID. We couldn't walk up to people's desks, see that they're not on the phone and say, can I just grab you for 5 minutes? We all have a status that impacts and integrates with our calendar. If it is green, go for it. If they don't answer, they're clearly not there or not ready for a call. But if they are green, it looks like they're available for a chat. If they are red, if they're on a call, if they are presenting, I think my biggest bugbear is when somebody sends me a Teams message or tries to call me when my status clearly says presenting, because that will probably pop up on my screen if I haven't shared correctly or anything like that. So just make sure you're keeping an eye on status, and also make sure that if people aren't respecting your status, have that conversation. We need to be open with our colleagues to say, look, I am on red, can you give me a call back in 20 minutes when I've got some availability? So first one is respect the status and make sure you're using yours. The next one is we have delay send in Outlook and now in Teams, which is quite recent. If you are somebody that is happy to be working out of hours because you've checked your well-being and you're only taking 1 day of the month, top tip, just make sure that you're using the delay send feature in both Teams and Outlook, because at that point I can say, whilst I'm working 8 o'clock tonight, the message won't actually land in Anthony's team inbox or his email inbox until 9 a.m. tomorrow. And at that point, it's off my brain, it's off my chest, I've dealt with that, I don't have to worry about it. But equally, neither does Anthony until working hours. And then the next one is setting your quiet hours. So if you don't want to be disturbed outside of your working hours, in Teams on your mobile app, if you have Teams on your mobile, you can go in, set your quiet hours to say between 6 o'clock at night and 7 a.m. in the morning, I don't want to receive any Teams messages. That just means if I have my phone next to me on the sofa and Anthony did message me and forgot to click delay send, I still wouldn't be impacted because it's set to my quiet hours. So there's things you can do to take care of other people, but also to take care of yourself as well. And now I will hand back to Anthony.
Thank you very much, Megan.
You're welcome.